So going from my previous video is saying that, there are things I like to talk about, to get directly started and that's something that's been most important to me and been most pertinent to me in the past week. I'd like to speak of now. I'm not sure how long it'll take. We'll see. Um, so to give some background, some context, um, there's a guy I love and care about named Luca, who back in, I think it was February, told me about a friend of his who I never met, who got leukemia. An Italian friend of his, living in London, 2 children, husband that had been together. They had basically been teenage sweethearts. Um, you know, Great couple, everything apparently. And yeah, so ever since he had told me about her, Federica, her name was Federica, ever since he had told me about her, telling me things, I got involved and I started caring, and I remember always thinking that because it's leukemia. I mean, from what I knew, from what I figured, I thought leukemia was something that uh, people didn't really die from anymore, like they do, um, but not something that was really like a major concern. And then I remember him telling me things about needing to have, that she would have needed to have had a spine transplant, um, things like that in order to ever possibly get better again. And she had negative reactions to the chemotherapy. And on the second attempt that she had to do a chemotherapy session, apparently it was her bodily reaction to it that led to her death last Friday. And even though I never knew her, and even though I never had a chance to speak to her or anything, and I didn't even know what she looked like until after her death, just knowing how it affected Luca, and knowing how it basically, I could empathize, not because I've ever had anyone in my life important die. It's because it's something I have thought about so much since I was young. I mean, ever since I was 3, I remember having thoughts about death in life and what comes after, and what the purpose of life is, and why and that life is so hard, and that we try so hard and do so many things, and we have so many struggles, and so many things get to us in our heads, and then we die. And I remember always saying too that one of the main reasons I never wanted to have kids was because I just found it so selfish to want to bring another human, another life into this earth to make me feel better about myself, and then have that person somehow, some way or another, just die like I will, just to further along, my own genes, and just me anyway, my own very bleak outlook on it. But when she died, though, and seeing how affected he was, I mean, it was just I could just kind of feel death near me and around me, and I could sense it, and I could I there isn't a good way to describe it, or to say it. It's just that every corner you turn, everywhere you go. I mean, he and I went on a trip this weekend. It was Easter weekend, and we went on a trip around the mountains, to a couple of small villages. And on the way there, we're driving on this mountain, and then I look down over, and I see that there are no ledges or anything. I mean, if anything wrong happened with the car, then just it's over. I mean, that that's it. And just thinking things of like, uh, I don't even know. I mean, it's such a it's been such a big topic for me in my head and in my life, and um, I just kind of realized because of this, because I never knew her, that when when someone I love does die, I probably won't be able to function or operate correctly, and then I have to wonder why. And Luca had told me that, not necessarily speaking of me, but that in general, that kind of reaction is kind of a selfish one. That you suffer so much, you grieve so much for losing something that you had. Cycle of life, cycle of nature, and I understand that. But the only thing I can say is that I see it on just a slightly different level than just losing something that you lost. It's something that, I mean, this person had their life, and it's not just not being able to speak to them again. It's if you truly get to know someone and to love them and to share something with them as precious as your own life and your own feelings and your own thoughts, and then you lose them, it's I guess I'm afraid to not find them again after we die. And maybe that's not important, and honestly it probably isn't. It's just the futility of it all, I mean, this this desire we have to, grow up and go to school and get jobs and then have kids and then we retire and we die, and that it's okay because we're old, and um, I just don't quite see it that way, and that's not really what I'm trying to get at. Really, it's more of a thing of, I mean, I don't think it's me so much that misses the person. It's the kind of interaction between my body and my soul that misses or will miss the other person, and then that this kind of feeling of dread deep down in my system, knowing that one day I'm going to stop breathing, and that one day I will never open my eyes again, and that it will all turn black, and everything that I loved and that I knew and that I felt is gone, and that the thing that was probably most relevant to all of that, what I just said now, was that when I was young, my mother had a psychic friend who told me that I would live to be in my 80s, and that was relieving. It's relief to know that I can live a long time. I mean, that's the ideal. That's what we want. And I remember when I thought of it was when I was trying to get to sleep and I was holding Luca in my arms, and I thought of that because he's 46, I'm 24, and I just thought, okay, cool, I'll live to be in my 80s. Then I realized that when I'm 80, Luca's probably not going to be alive. In fact, it's very much likely not going to happen. And then that's what led me to the other thoughts of losing everything that I know and that I love, and that I too will just become nothing like them, at least physically anyway. And it's something that I have a real difficult time accepting and grasping. But that's the thing. I have to accept it. I have to accept that one day I will be dead, and if there is something terrible waiting afterwards, don't know, or something wonderful or better, or just nothing at all. I mean, I don't really think of it in terms of that so much. I guess because I also feel too that humans by nature are probably more likely to be wrong than right, especially about something that we just don't know, like things of life after death or any kind of heaven or hell or anything. I think if, though, souls do exist, if there is something inside of us that makes us different and unique and truly, not just personalities, but, in a cosmic sense, souls, maybe not cosmic, but, you know what I mean. Um, I would like to think that even if we all have different views and beliefs and ideas, that whether we're wrong or not, probably all of us are closer to being wrong than right. And I would like to think that whatever is there, I would hope that there's some kind of reunification when it's all over, and that there isn't a segregation, at the very least, between what stupid humans thought or believed while they were alive, because whether you believed or not, I mean, how can anyone really know? I mean, you can't. So at the very least, I would like to think that if there are actual options, like a bad place or a good place to go, then probably it's more likely that we would go to a good place, because, I mean, I think deep down we live to love. I mean, what really drives us as people in general is to love. And if a soul is love, I would like to think that, you know, love is what unites us as people, and it's what will unite us when we die. And that's it. So, thanks for listening. It's been 12 minutes. Hope I managed to maintain your interest and hopefully make you think something about yourself and your own life and your own beliefs, and that hopefully I'm not alone. And, well, I don't think I'm alone. I know I'm not alone in my own beliefs, or my lack of beliefs in anything, but my own worries and preoccupations over death and life and what happens or not, and just trying to accept my role in it all. So, thanks for listening, if you did. Appreciate it. So, night.